Hi everyone, welcome to Diversify. The verse is July and August book discussion. So Alex is kind of stuck in traffic right now, so I just thought I would get started because we're already like 50 minutes late almost, so I'm really sorry about that. I really just wanted to do this live show now rather than put it off again because we've been reading this book for over 2 months and I want to move on to our September book. And I also just feel really bad about how long we've been doing this. I know scheduling has been really hard right now with school starting up again and with my vacation and all that stuff. So I'm really sorry we've just kind of put this off for so long. So I just wanted to do it, and hopefully Alex will join us soon. She's, yeah, like I said, stuck in traffic. So let's get started, I guess. I will talk about my non-spoilery thoughts for When Dimple and Rishi by Sandhya Menon. And I just finished audiobook rereading it this morning. And so this is like fresh in my mind because the first time I read it was in June, like at the beginning of June. And I took all these notes and I got my notebook here. So I guess my non-spoilery thoughts. I really enjoyed it. This has been one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and I'm really glad that I liked it and I enjoyed it. Then it kind of like lived up to the hype, and yeah, I really love the characters. I felt like it was really relatable. I guess if you don't know what When Dimple Met Rishi is about, it is about these two Indian American kids who just finished high school, and this summer they're going to go to a coding camp together at San Francisco. And they are Dimple and Rishi, and their parents kind of put them in an arranged marriage, was just more like a suggested marriage because they don't actually have to get married. They just thought it'd be compatible together. And so they go and meet each other at this coding camp, and Dimple doesn't know about it. Rishi does. And so their first meeting was a little fun. And yeah, it's just really a cute book, and I loved how it's set in San Francisco. We kind of get to see a bit of San Francisco and the culture there, and also I love that Dimple is a coder because I am a computer science major and I am also a coder, although I'm a bit of a slacker. But it is, I don't know, it was just really fun to read about that because, you know, I want more girls in STEMs and to encourage girls to pursue careers in STEM fields, and I just found her to be really inspiring just because she's so passionate about coding, and I just makes me want to actually do stuff. And also with Rishi, I could really relate to. He's kind of got this little debate going on with whether he wants to follow what his parents want and go to MIT, study engineering, computer science, and that's what his parents want for him, or he's also really passionate about comics, but he kind of decided to go with what his parents want instead of pursuing comics because it's the more practical thing to do. But I kind of can relate to that because I'm also a piano major, and who knows what kind of career I'm going to have as a pianist, but I really love it, and for me, I just can't decide, so I'm doing both. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. There were some really cute things, and there was also it was also really relatable in the sense that I am a daughter of immigrants, and these two are both children of immigrants. So just kind of that family dynamic of, you know, your parents kind of wanting you to follow one track and you kind of being interested in something else, and you know how your cultures kind of mix, like how their Indian culture and their background, the heritage kind of mixes with American culture, and how you balance that. I just found that really relatable, and their relationships with their parents be really relatable, and it was just really cute. So that's kind of all I have for non-spoilery thoughts. I think everyone should pick this up because it's just a really fun book, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. Is this like coming on backwards? I'm sorry if it comes on like mirrored. I guess that makes everything backwards then. So I guess I should tell you about our next read. So in September, it is the start of Hispanic Heritage Month on the 15th, and so we thought maybe we would do a book that would honor that and pick a book that's by a Hispanic author. So we've been sending clues. I've been sending you clues on Diversify the Verse on Instagram, and no one has guessed it, I guess. But our book is a new release, and it is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. So I haven't read any books by Adam Silvera yet, but I am really excited to read this one because I've heard a lot of great things about him. Is it really like mirrored? Oh, it's right side for you. It's like the wrong side for me. That makes a lot more sense. So you actually like read this right. Yeah, so I'm really excited to read this. It is set in, I guess, a world, but it's kind of like got this sci-fi element where there's this thing called death cast, and they call you on the day that you're supposed to die, and they're like, call up these two guys, and they're like, you're gonna die today, and so you can go on this, what is it, like a social media thing, and find someone else who's dying on the same day, so you can kind of live out your last day together. And it is about these two kids, and I believe they're both of Hispanic heritage, which is really great, and Adam Silvera has Puerto Rican heritage. So yeah, and so like this month we will be giving recommendations of books written by Hispanic authors or with those characters in it. And yeah, I'm also excited because this is an LGBT book, and I'll be reading it with a friend of mine who identifies as LGBT. So I'm excited to just discuss it with him, and maybe we'll do a video together, a collaboration, and I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I'm really excited for this book, but I am kind of scared. I've heard that Adam Silvera's books are kind of sad, so gotta prepare my heart for this. Yeah, so this is our next book. I hope you'll join us for it because it should be a lot of fun. And right now we are planning to do like a live show in a month, so this won't be like this month where it was for both July and August, and now we're in September doing the live show, but the live show might fall in October, but I'll see ya. So yeah, I hope you join us for this, and I guess I should go on to the spoiler section. So if you haven't read When Dimple Met Rishi, just be aware that we might spoil you once Alex joins me. Hopefully she can join me soon. Yeah, so I'm gonna go to questions. So on Instagram we always do like a read along, and we post questions, and I've put them in the description, and I'll just kind of talk through them. What are your first impressions? I guess I didn't really talk about my first impressions. Well, at first, I don't know, it was just interesting to read. I don't know how to, I don't even remember my first impressions. This was too long ago. I guess I can look at my journal, but I guess I really liked the writing, and I love how, because Dimple's and Rishi's parents are immigrants, we also get a mix of, I think, Hindi or another language that they speak in India. I know that they have a lot of different languages in India. We get some of that language in like written out, which is really cool. When I was audiobooking, you can actually, you know, hear them speaking it and speak it correctly. Stuff, you know, like when you're reading it, I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce this at all. But I thought it was really cool because I found it to be really realistic. Like for me at home, we kind of speak a mix of English and Lao, and I just really liked seeing that in book format. And at the beginning, I don't know, it just took me a little to get used to, because it was a little hard to figure out what they were saying. I mean, it was definitely like there, but I don't know. And I also just, I guess the beginning, I did not really expect. Okay, so you know the when Dimple and Rishi first meet, and it is like the back of the book, and I did not expect that to happen. I was like, what? And it was also hilarious. I was listening to the audiobook, and I'm just like, oh, Rishi is such a cutie. And yeah, I guess those are my first impressions. Feel free to type in whatever if you have questions, if you want to just keep chatting with me, because I'm chatting alone right now. But yeah, And there were some points where I was just kind of like, what exactly is happening? I don't know. There are some things that I felt were a little cliche and predictable, but I really did enjoy them. Oh, you know what was one of my first impressions was why Dimple was so mad at Rishi. I mean, like, it's not Rishi's fault. When she finds out that her parents and Rishi's parents like put him in an arranged marriage, she gets super mad at him, and she just like, and I'm like, he does not deserve this. He is this really nice guy, and I know you don't know him, but your like parents set you up, but he's not like your enemy. And I just felt really bad for Rishi. Yeah, because I felt like Dimple was kind of treating him unfairly at the beginning. Okay, so next, do you think Dimple's parents should have told her about the arranged marriage? How would you react if you were in her situation? So, yeah, I think her parents probably should have told her this was gonna go. This is going on when she went to like the coding camp, and I don't know, I think this is something like she definitely like deserves to know, but I guess I can kind of understand why they didn't tell her. They thought that she would just like freak out and be opposed to the idea, but you know, I think that her parents really do love her, and they really want to like her to have a good future relationship, and I think they had like good intentions, but they really should have told her. How would I react in this situation? Well, if it was Rishi, I'd probably be okay with it because Rishi is just so cute. I mean, at the first I'd be like, oh, who the heck are you? I probably wouldn't throw coffee at him. One, because I don't really drink coffee. So maybe I would throw a smoothie at him, but I don't think I would throw a smoothie at him. I'm not really a throwing stuff kind of a person. But I don't know, I'd probably be mad. I feel like I'd probably be mad, but I guess my relationship, it kind of depends, like her relationship with her parents, like she is a bit more rebellious and isn't as, you know, like traditional as her parents want her to be in terms of like her culture. And I guess like her relationship with her parents, like she kind of feels like her parents have all these expectations of her, and her mom always wants her to, you know, like wear makeup and dress pretty and all that stuff, and she's not really interested. And I guess I can see, you know, why she would react in that way, and maybe why they were so hesitant. I'm like at school right now, so so yeah, but I feel like, you know, my relationship with my parents, I think it would be a little different. I mean, I don't know how to describe, I don't know what to say. I guess I do have a lot of faith in them and how they know me. I feel like my parents really do look out for me, and I really value their opinion and their advice. So maybe I just wouldn't react so terribly about it. Yeah. Next question. So number 3, Rishi struggles with pursuing his career, the career his parents want for him, and his dreams as an artist. Although he's chosen to follow his parents, do you think he made the right choice? Do you think he'll stick to that choice? And if it were you, what would you choose? So if you've read the book and you've finished the book, you know what happens, and he eventually chooses comics. And I'm really glad that he, you know, decided to kind of like stand up to his parents and is like, this is what I really am passionate about. This is what I want to do. This is my life, and I'm still young. I can try this out, and it's my passion. It's what I love to do, and I really support like him doing that, because I was like, I mean, I can get it, like when you have Asian parents, they really want you to be like an engineer or a lawyer. They want you to do a practical job, because they're really, you know, it comes out of a place of love, and they want you to do well in life. They want you to be successful and to be able to have a good lifestyle, and that I can understand. And how like Rishi wants to do the practical thing, and he also just, you know, wants to not to disappoint his parents. And so I am glad that in the end that he does pursue comics. I don't know, it was kind of, for me, I have chosen to pursue both of it. I guess, you know, computer science, I feel like was a little more for my parents, because they're like, you're not majoring in piano only. You have to major in something else that's actually going to get you a job. And I mean, we'll see if piano gets me a job. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But for me, I just cannot picture myself without music in my life, without learning music and playing music and performing music. It's something that I really love. And I had a meeting with my advisor today because I was freaking out about whether I wanted to double major or triple major. And she's like, you kind of have to reprioritize your life and pick what's most important, because I guess, you know, computer science, as much as I do like it, it isn't exactly my dream per se. And yeah, so like for me, I've, you know, picked both. That was what I would do. I really am happy with my decision, I guess, because I can't choose. I don't know. I'm a person who just needs to do everything, and that is kind of why I am probably going to die this semester, because I just want to do everything that I'm interested in, and I'm just interested in everything that's not even related, like music, computer science. But there are quite a few people who like are interested in music and computer science, or STEM fields and music, which is really interesting. So I guess my frustration with Rishi was like, why couldn't he do it both? Like, what was the reason why he couldn't do both? He was like, either comics or the engineering. And I was just like, both. But I guess, you know, I can see like he's so passionate. He feels that he's so passionate about comics that if he were to pursue it, that would be his entire life. And it would just like, he'd be super super into comics and make it his entire life, because just he's so passionate about it. He couldn't live any other way. And I guess, you know, I can see that as well. I mean, I kind of do the debate of, if I really, 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 really want to be a professional piano player that plays like concerts all over the place, should I really be trying to divide my time with all of my interests in 2 majors, or should I just dedicate everything to my craft and my art? And so I can kind of see that. I'm sorry if I'm kind of rambling on. Alex isn't here with me. Okay, so I'll go on to the next question then. What do you think of the relationships Dimple and Rishi have with their families, and how do they compare, and how do they affect the two? So they definitely have different relationships with their family. I kind of talked about Dimple's relationship with her family and a little bit about Rishi's, but like with Dimple, she can really relate. I don't know, she really loves her. I mean, I feel like she really does love her family, but with her dad, I feel like she's got like an easier way, because she's like, her dad is like really soft, and he's really loving and really caring and really supportive. And then with her mom, it's kind of like a different story, because she feels like her mom has like all this pressure on her, and her mom doesn't really get her, and like really wants her to like just kind of be more domestic, I guess, and, you know, look pretty and wear makeup and dress nice. And she thinks that her mom wants her, you know, to get married and have a family, and instead of being more a family-oriented person than going for her career and her dreams. So that's kind of the thing with her and her parents, I guess, her family relationship. And with Rishi, he's definitely more of a traditional kind of guy. Well, I guess with Dimple, she is a bit more rebellious. And then with Rishi, he's more like a traditional kind of guy, and he goes along with what his parents want. And I mean, I feel like both of them really want to do right by their parents and really don't want to disappoint their parents. And it's just kind of interesting, you know, the way that they approach it. Like with Rishi, he's kind of, at the beginning at least, he's going along with it. Oh, Alex said she got home, so she's probably coming on soon. Yay! And I guess, what was I saying? With Rishi, he just goes along with what his parents want because he feels like he has to be like dutiful because his younger brother. I guess that's also kind of different. It's like Dimple is an only child and Rishi also has a younger brother, and his brother is like into sports and is like kind of a jock and all that. And oh look, Alex is here. There you are. Let's say hi to Alex.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, everyone. Freaking just got home. All right.
Have you been watching, or you want me to fill you in?
No, I haven't. So where are you at? Have you started talking about the book?
Yeah, I already gave my non-spoilery thoughts, and now I'm to question 4.
Oh, let's see.
So
I guess I'll give my non-spoilery thoughts too.
okay, let me finish up my thought on question 4, and then I will let you kind of catch up, or yeah, I think we'll have enough time to let you like catch up, like discuss a little more. So I was talking about like Rishi and his family dynamic, how he feels like he needs to be like the dutiful son and do what his parents want, and kind of like because he has this younger brother who is like is not gonna be the perfect Indian son, so he feels like he needs to be the one who's like responsible and does the practical thing. And I guess how that affects it too is with everybody. The way you're brought up affects how you look at the world and how you see the world. And I guess with Rishi, he's really practical. He like wants to get married. He wants to be able to support his family and give his family a good life. And he's really thinking about that. With Dimple, she's really more, I don't know. I guess, like with Dimple, she's pursuing her passion. So I guess that's one thing where Dimple and Rishi kind of have like a little conflict, is that you can definitely like join in whenever if you have a thought, Alex. I've been like rambling on for I don't know how long. But like with Dimple, she's pursuing her passion, and with Rishi, he's doing what his parents want, and that is a little source of conflict between them because Dimple doesn't exactly get why Rishi has to go to MIT and has to do engineering when he is so passionate, so talented about comics. And I guess that affects how they see their relationship, where Rishi is like really into they're both into, but like Rishi is kind of like thinking more of the future, and he really wants to establish like a really solid relationship, and he wants it to last. And Dimple kind of has her hesitations, especially since he is going to MIT, and that's across the country, and her hesitation with how Rishi will affect her career. And Alex.
What I really loved was, I think a lot of people also touched on this, like there are so many reviews on When Dimple Met Rishi that like it's kind of hard not to look at them. But like you said, conflicting views of the traditions and their culture in both Dimple and Rishi, which I thought was like so interesting. Because prior to, I guess, talking about going into my first impressions of this book, is that prior to reading it, I didn't know that. I think I even told you this. I didn't know that Dimple did not know that she was, that she was in an arranged, that she was going to potentially meet her person she was in arranged marriage with. So I didn't know that, and then when I read that, that was why I was so like surprised about everything. But yeah, just like I guess first impressions, this book is like probably the most unique book out there. It follows 2 Indian Americans, which is I don't think I've ever read a book following kind of 2 Indian Americans. Like I'm trying to think of books that I've read before, but I can't really think of any. So I'm glad that this is like one of the first ones.
Like in contemporary, at least, this is like all I can think about, because Roshni
contemporary,
written Indian inspired fantasy.
Oh, have I? No, I haven't. Oh yeah, Rashani Chaksis. Yeah. I read that. Well, actually, I DNF'd that, so I can't really say I read that. But yeah, like for contemporary, this is a huge deal, and also because she talks so much about the culture, which I thought was interesting. It wasn't just like here and there. It was like I think aspects of her own life in it, which is really cool. And I think putting it in this specific setting of this coding, this kind of web development app camp, which was really interesting. That was really unique too, because we're talking about STEM, and when we're talking about STEM, usually we don't see girls in STEM doing, you know, a lot of proficient things. So that was really fun to see as well. So just little aspects here and there made it just like the like ultimate unique YA book that you're not going to see like often, or like topics that often aren't talked about. So yeah.
You know, like talking about the culture thing, I guess, you know, I really love how she does incorporate culture, but it's like, to them, it's such a natural part of their life.
Yeah.
And if, you know, if you have grown up with a different culture, if you have grown up with like immigrant parents, or just like parents who really want your culture to be a part of your life, that's just kind of like, it's just a part of your life. And like sometimes they'll say things in like Hindi. I don't know if it's Hindi or if it's like another Indian language, but they'll say something in like the different language, like talking about your brother or something. And that's like with me and my brother, like sometimes I'll say just like things, even though we both speak English, sometimes I'll say like phrases in Lao to him, and that's just kind of like how it is. So I really love how that is incorporated into it, and it's like really natural. Or like when they're eating snacks and they're talking about, oh, let's go find an Indian grocer around here, and that's like, it just, these things that make life normal. I guess one of the things about diverse books that I really want to explore and encourage is just kind of like normalcy. Like people who identify as diverse are exactly the same as like everyone else. I mean, they have this other aspect of them, but they're, you know, just normal people living normal lives too. And I really love how you can see that in this book. And it's just really incorporated well.
Yeah, like just another thing, definitely with a culture. Oh wait, oops, I'm playing the video. So like because it takes place in like this kind of STEM, I guess, background, since we are talking about these people who got accepted into the program. There's also a chance that I think she took to add in some kind of like how would you say it? Some feminism.
Yeah.
So one specific part that I mean, this is a spoiler part section now. So by now, if you're reading,
like really spoiled because I already spoiled some things.
Oh, okay. Well, like when they're talking about, you know, with the other guys, also, when they're talking about who's gonna win, the guys are like, our ideas are popping. Too bad we have to share them with a couple of girls. Can't believe they split us up even after my dad made that donation. So they did split up the teams, and you know the girls were split up with the guys and whatever and whatever. So this specific part where Evan's talking about like, you know, how they're stuck with girls and they had ideas to themselves just really kind of made me angry. But at the same time, I think there was also like a rebuttal from Dimple. She says, if anything, having girls on your team will just make your idea better. Research shows that women are better coders. And I'm just like, oh my god, like it was like this perfect like snarky comment that definitely they're like all throughout the book too. Like her just standing up for her passion and showing that she, you know, she's really excelling in it. So I think that's really cool.
No, I definitely like feel that. I mean, I'm going into college and now in my STEM field, and there are not as many girls there, but I do feel like, I guess in my school we do have quite a few, so I guess I don't see as much of that kind of discrimination. But I know, like, you know, for sure when you go out into the work field, that's like that. And I've heard stories, and, you know, and it's just really, I don't know, it's kind of annoying because it's the dumbest thing ever, I think. Like, if you are pretty much just cutting off half the population, and they are just as capable. Girls are able to do anything. And they are smart too, and just kind of, I guess I really do like how she portrayed that, because I mean it is sadly our reality, and I like how, you know, Dimple and Celia and Isabel, I mean Isabel, but how like they kind of like fight against it, and how we do have this representation of women in STEM. Oh, and
So yeah.
There's this one thing that Jenny Lind at the end, you know, says that, you know, like when Dimple met Jenny Lind at the end. Let me try to like find where's a good place to start. But She says, you're going to see a lot of it. People getting ahead unfairly because of the category into which they were born, male or white or straight or rich. I'm in a few of those categories myself, which is why I make it a point to reach out and help those who aren't, those who might not necessarily be seen if I didn't make the effort. We need to shake this field up. You know, we need more people with different points of view and experience and thought process, so we can keep innovating and moving ahead. Which I think is just like something that I really also believe, because like to get to really have progress, you need to like take in all these ideas. If you're just going with one story, one person, one lifestyle, they're kind of living in a bubble, and you know, we're making a lot of like innovations, and like if you really want to kind of explore how far you can go with this technology and with, you know, advancing human life, I guess you really have to kind of get the perspective of other people as well. So I don't know, I just really like that. I was listening to it earlier.
Yeah, I actually have the same exact page highlighted, and I think what was really interesting about this part was that I also go to a STEM school, like science-based, and I want to pursue like maybe not in coding, but I do want to do marine biology, and that's like science and whatever. But I think what's really interesting about my like just high school career so far is that I have like never heard of pushback, like of the pushback of, you know, of girls, you know, being excluded. But that's because I've just been cultured around so many, you know, like teachers who are pushing girls too. And I've just been around so many people who are like rooting for us. But in this book, I think they bring up a lot of like interesting, I guess, topics surrounding that, like the pushback that you know, females receive in this field. And that's why that's how mainly I was introduced to it. Like she also says in the top part, I'm going to have a talk with the organizers about conflicts of interest. If your parents donated the new computer science wing, you shouldn't be allowed to participate. That was really interesting. And I think that's going to be a huge thing, especially when I go, like, you know, when colleges, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so.
I feel like at my college, I go to a private college, and there are.
Okay. I mean, I've heard of it.
A lot of people like that, like here. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just the unfair, like the unfair treatment. Like I've heard of it before, and this book just made it like blatantly obvious. Like this guy donated the science wing, and he automatically got accepted into the program, and he obviously would have won, right? Like, yeah, it's obvious. So I think that was a really great example. And yeah, I mean, I kind of like how it wasn't so obvious that they won. You know what I'm saying? Like the book didn't make them win, because there were some lessons to be taught from that. Like they use that opportunity.
People didn't win?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that kind of is a question.
She won in her own way.
I was like, I like added that as a question later, so we should talk about that later. You want to go to the fifth question?
Sure. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, where's the fifth question? Where's the fifth question?
How has spending time with... Are you on
Oh yeah, because we didn't number them differently. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is spending time with Rishi changed Dimple? How is spending time with Dimple changed Rishi? Now this was interesting because the characters at first when you meet them, they're two completely different people, I feel. We have Dimple, who's kind of like very hard. She was actually really, for me, hard to get used to as a character and kind of like at first. I don't know if this is the same thing for you. She's kind of like rough at the beginning, but she's just so passionate about, you know, what she wants to do, I feel. So that was also really invigorating. But then we have Dimple, who's just so selfless, and he's so caring, and he's so sweet and everything. Rishi. Oh yeah, Rishi. I'm sorry, Rishi, who is so caring and everything. But then we find out that he also has this inner conflict with himself, and finding his passion and going for it when he knows that it might not be as like profitable or sustainable as his parents, in his first future. So I think definitely when we see, there's this huge part I remember. So it was actually one of our questions. Where'd you go?
Charge my phone.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No. So I think it was actually one of our questions, but like how they spend time with each other. you know that part when like she does something behind his back and he does something behind her back? That is a huge part of them also sharing kind of like their relationship with each other, but also like kind of changing each other's characters, which I thought was a huge. First, at first, I didn't know that Rishi would do something back, but when Dimple did it, I think that was a question whether what Dimple did was justifiable.
Oh, was it? I didn't see.
I think I wanted to ask that, like, at first, do you think what Dimple did was right? Like, but then Rishi did something else, and I was just like, but they both did it, and it benefited them. So, I guess in the long run, it was, it was good.
Okay, so I guess I forgot what you said. I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree that Dimple at the beginning was kind of hard to get used to. She was just, I just felt like she was being too mean to Rishi. Like, if it's not his fault, and that like they're kind of like in the situation, and it's not his fault that her parents didn't tell her about it, and she's just being really unnecessarily mean, I feel like, to him, and I felt really bad. And so I was kind of just like, it took me a while to get used to Dimple, and I feel like she is kind of like one track mind. She's like, I'm gonna win Insomnia Con, I'm gonna be Coder, this is my career, this is my life. Forget everyone else. It's just kind of me. And I do like how Rishi kind of like opens up her world, and he makes her see like different things and experience different things and different kind of thought processes, and yeah, how has Dimple changed Rishi? I think, that one kind of, I feel like is a bit of an easier, because I guess, Dimple gets Rishi to pursue his passion, his dream of doing comics, and she kind of also like shows them a different world. And I think also with like how Rishi changes Dimple, I think, Rishi kind of like, there's those Aber zombies.
Oh my god.
Isn't.
I hated that name. Do not say the name. I hated that so much. That is so.
I felt like it was really like 10 years ago kind of a thing. Back when that was a thing. That was a little like, okay. But, Dimple definitely, like, there is a stereotype of that kind of a person. And I feel like Rishi kind of represents a different side. So I do like, how he does show like, they're like, not everybody fits that stereotypical mold. There is this Rishi. And I also just kind of like how he's so supportive of her. And I think so much on how that changed Dimple. I think, that really helps Dimple.
Yeah. I mean, what I like to say about his character in the end is that in the end he learned how to pursue his passion, but also keep his culture, like be true to his culture. And he loves his culture, he loves his traditions, and so I think he found the best of both worlds, which I think was really good, because he knew that like he didn't 100% of the time have to satisfy his parents. It was also about what he wanted to do, which I mean, in the end, like that's why I really understand why this book is like really appreciated, especially with like Indian American teens reading this, because I remember when I read another book and it talked about kind of the ideals of, having Chinese American parents. Well, I mean, being a Chinese American and having Chinese parents, and how like it's like a stereotype. It's like, oh, like you have to be a doctor because you want to, help your parents in the future, and give back.
Well, that definitely is a thing too.
Yeah, so I like how that was talked about.
Like Rishi's situation, because his dad is a CEO.
Oh yeah, oh my god. That was like, at first when I read that part, like there are like the tiny things in the book that he does to, when
he pays their entire dinner.
Yes, oh my god, yeah.
Gosh, here you go. I'm paying for this like expensive dinner.
It was just, I don't know. That's why I kind of, whenever I think about this book, I always just fangirl a little bit, because Rishi's just like, he's like the ultimate kind of book boyfriend. He's so cute. He's so like caring, and I swear, just like, I just want to hug him.
And he's like unapologetically himself.
Yeah.
Most, like, when he's not trying to like put on a front, but like most of the time he's just like he accepts his nerdiness. Yeah. And I love that, because I accept my nerdiness.
I think he also tries to help Dimple do the same.
Mhm.
But yeah, like that first part with like the coffee, that first rubbed me the wrong way at first, but then I wrote down, then I kind of thought of it, and I'm like, I could see why she was justified in throwing it, because if someone came up to me saying that, I would be a little bit scared too.
Yeah.
If
Did you
what did
throw
he say?
coffee?
What did he say? He said like, I'm your
Wife,
I'm your
your wife, or something like that.
yeah, I'm your future husband or something like if somebody came up to me saying,
Hello, future wife.
yeah, I
Get started on the rest of our lives.
yeah, so if someone said that to me, I would be like pretty like yeah, I would be pretty freaked out. I'm a really paranoid person, but I think like when we talk about Dimple's character, I think she does sometimes there are little parts in the book where she is kind of like unnecessarily mean, like when she punches him in the ribs, and I'm just like, "No, why would you do that? Don't punch anyone in the ribs." Like
Yeah.
much less a friend, you know? Like at that point they're pretty much friends. Like you can call them friends and they're pretty close with each other. So like I just did that kind of rubbed me the wrong way for most of the book. It was so hard to read. Like when you're reading it, I was just like, no, why is this happening? Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the first time I read it, I wasn't aware there was this like critique of Dimple being kind of violent, and
Yeah.
and I guess, you know, the way I look at it is not exactly like her intention to hurt others. I mean, I guess, you know, like when you're gonna punch someone, punch someone to hurt. But like, to me, I just kind of see it as a part of her personality, and I don't think that it was like the intention of the author to portray her in this manner. But I guess maybe she was intending it to be like received as something cute, and you know,
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, maybe this is just some wrong decision on like maybe she did it by accident. She didn't think that it would rub people the wrong way. And I definitely don't think she was intending to like actually hurt him. I thought it was supposed to be some kind of like cute aspect, but I definitely think it kind of took the wrong turn, and it wasn't necessary. Like if she took it out, and there are so many other ways to describe like Dimple's, you know, like kind of like her like what do you go? What's her personality? Like very.
I don't know, I just call her like a person that's like really. You're saying like she's a bit of like a rough person. She's a really like bluntish kind of and like really like a physical kind of person. Like there are some people like, you know, if you have friends that are just like love hugging.
Yeah.
That kind of like, or like, you know, are like into like kind of touching you because you're friends, and like I feel like she's kind of that kind of a person.
She has her goal, and she wants to achieve that by any means. She's persistent. That's what she is. She's very determined, very persistent. But I just think I really could have done without those few parts. They didn't add anything to the book. They just added unnecessary violence. So that's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, the first time I read it, I didn't even see it as violence. I just saw it as something cute. So I mean, I guess, you know, it does depend on the context in which you read it.
Oh, I think I saw it. I think I was looking out for it because I did read the critique.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, the first part with like
hadn't read it, you might have seen it in a different way.
Yeah.
So I mean, it kind of just depends. But yeah. Should we go to the next question?
Sure.
Okay. What do you think of Dimple's reaction to the results of Insomnia Con? Okay, so I like listened to this morning. Now it's just like, Dimple. I don't know. Because she just kind of shuts down after it, and I just. You know, winning isn't everything. I guess that is my thing, and how she starts to, you know, like blame Rishi. She blames Rishi, and I'm like, it's not Rishi's fault that you didn't win. And I mean, I see, you know, she really wanted it so badly, and I guess I try to think of instances in my life where I have wanted something so badly that I've worked towards it, and how when I like did not get what I wanted, how that really did like affect me. But at the same time, I guess I'm looking at it, it's been a while since anything like that happened, but like, I mean, I can see how like she'd be really upset with it. But I guess, you know, in my situations, the only person I ever blame is myself, and for her to like be blaming Rishi, like, oh, it was Rishi's fault for like distracting me with stuff and whatever. And I just like, I I don't know. I was really frustrated with her and how she just like didn't want to do anything, and she was just like so upset, and she didn't want to see her idol like Jenny Lind because she was so upset. Like, come on, it's your idol. Just because you didn't win doesn't mean like you can't meet her. And I guess, you know, like she was like, oh, this was gonna change lives, not drunk zombies, which was like the Harry's app. Harry. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like really. I guess I was a little disappointed in her too, like that she took it so hard and that she just kind of was blaming Rishi for it. And after he was big, if you think about like all the things that he's done for her to help her with this, like he knows how much she loves it. Like with the whole dance thing, he was like, I can't dance, but I'll be the star for your dance thing, so you can win the talent show for you. And like, for her to be like, no, you are the reason why I didn't win this, and just kind of, I was a little disappointed in her and frustrated.
Yeah, like I agree. Definitely, like it was so it was so hard for me to love not Rishi, Dimple as a character. That part also disappointed me as well. But I think also, yeah, I think I can talk about something like this, like in a situation where if you didn't win something and you really, really wanted so badly, that it happened recently to me. And I mean, my partner was my sister in this. It was kind of like this, like you had partners stuff, and my partner was my sister. And in the end, when we didn't win, I didn't really blame her, because what I like to think of it is like everyone has a path. Like, you know, there's like an expected path for everything. Everything happens for a reason, basically. So if you didn't win it, there's something greater for you. And I think what she got out of that, even though she didn't win, was she had this relationship with Rishi, which I guess you could say at that point when she blamed him, she kind of ruined it a little bit. But she had that relationship with Rishi, and then she had also, you know, Rishi set up this whole thing with, you know, with her mentor, like with the person, her idol. So I think if you think about that, those two outweigh her winning Insomnia Con. Even though she wanted so badly, she got so much more out of it.
And I'm like, you know, just because you didn't win doesn't mean that your app can't be a thing. Like that was the kind of one of it too, was like she wanted this app for her father, to help her father, and I guess she felt like she disappointed her dad, even though, because her dad was like, you gotta win this thing. And I guess, you know, that is kind of a thing with children and parents. It's like you want to make your parents proud, and you want to, yeah, make them proud, and like she just kind of felt like she let them down. But at the same time, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, what your parents want is for you to be happy and you to be successful. And, you know, just because you didn't win doesn't mean that you aren't gonna get there one day. And it's I guess, you know, I was just really frustrated with her. And you said something. I was gonna say something about it, but I forgot now.
That's why I don't know. I think this story is very well thought out. Everything is placed in there for a reason, I think. And I think it was a really good decision on, you know, Sandhya, the author's like part, to put in that aspect where she didn't win, because I think if she did win, I think everything would have kind of fallen into place too easy. You know what I'm saying? Like this also left a lot of room for kind of growth for their relationship, because they learned so much more out of that. And her blaming it, she realized in the end that he wasn't to blame. So
I think, you know, it really was important in her character growth too, because if she just won, she wouldn't have like learned.
Yeah, she'd be doing that for the rest of her life. Like, expect to win.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, doesn't learn how to, I guess, not win, because that's also a thing. You know, like people who win things their entire life, when things go wrong, they just kind of like shut down and don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So just kind of like, you know, learning to lose, learning to not get everything, and it's hard, I will say. I mean, as critical as I am of Dimple, I mean, I can, you know, see where she's coming from, and I think, you know, the experiences I've had with disappointment and, you know, being like really hurt and stuff like that in those situations, I feel like that definitely like helped me grow as a person. So I'm happy that that is a part of the book, that she didn't win.
Yeah. But overall, you know, wait, I'm just looking at our pictures here. Oh, you put like coding pictures. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Back to the book. I definitely think that was a really good decision. And the ending, I think the ending was actually like favorable. It was like what I wanted it to be. And I think in the end, I was very satisfied with where their characters were in the story. I don't know about if it's the same for you.
Do you feel like Dimple unfairly broke up with Rishi? Because I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, no, I wasn't very satisfied with everything that she did, but I'm not gonna like go into like a whole rant of that. And like I said before, there are some parts that could have been taken out. Like she did not have to punch him, and I highlighted it to the max. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up, like, I thought, like, oh my god, like Dimple and Rishi were so well done. Like their characters were very like interesting, and I think that they were also very well developed throughout the story. But at the same time, I didn't really feel like. What did you think of like the side characters? Like I don't know about you, but I thought Isabella was so interesting. Like,
Isabel?
Yeah,
I don't really care for her.
And her yeah. So I thought she was really interesting, and I really wanted to learn more about kind of her story. I don't know if that was just me, but
I don't know. I guess, with Celia, I was just frustrated with her, wanting to be with the cool kids and sacrificing who she is.
Yeah. But that's such a common thing. Like, that's why. Like, I can relate to that. Like, definitely.
I mean, I guess, I've never really with the in-group, so I just kind of whatever. So I guess, like, for me, I mean, it definitely is, like, you have to grow and you have to do a lot of introspection to, like, figure out who you are to be able to, like, say things, I guess, like, I don't know. I have a challenging past with friends. And I guess I will say that I never really, like, fit in with the in-group or any group, really. So I'm just kind of, like, I'm in, like, really, I guess, in my own lane. So for me, it was a bit frustrating to see Celia just kind of, like, really sad. I mean, I guess, I can see where she's coming and she wants to fit in. Her opportunity to do so, because like when you're in high school, when like in her past experience, like in school, you grow up with the same people. So if you like don't get in with the group,
yeah, definitely,
like gonna never get in with the group. Because as much as we don't want high school and college even to be cliquey, it is. Everyone kind of has their own group, and getting in and out of the group is kind of hard. But like I can see where she's coming from, where she wants to finally be in this popular crowd. But at the same time, I guess I don't really get this, like, I don't get, like, there was at my high school, like, the popular group, but I didn't really get why they were even popular. Like, they weren't even really, like, popular, like, everyone looked up to them, and, like, they were just kind of who you, like, thought of as if you had to pick a popular person.
Same with me. That's why I thought her character was really interesting.
The mold of what a popular person would be like, I don't know.
But I don't know. There are just some side characters that I would have like really loved more from, like Rishi's brother. Like I thought,
wait for his book.
I know. I'm just so excited. Like I really like now. I didn't realize that there was going to be more, but at the same time, like when he was introduced to us in this book, I was just like, holy crap, I want to learn so much more about this character and how he's and oh my god, would be so interesting how he's like different from Rishi. Like I think that's so interesting too, because he's kind of like on his own path from his parents, like vision for them, and I thought that was so interesting. That's kind of like what you and I are doing. Well, actually, we're both doing STEM, but like we're doing something that is very like on our own path where we have our own dreams and stuff, which I thought was interesting, and I'm very excited to learn more about him.
So excited for Ash's book.
I know.
So excited. Oh my god, I really like him because he definitely is a complex character. Even in this book, like Rishi has one idea of him because we are seeing this book through Rishi's point of view, so we like see how he sees his little brother, and even that gets a little turned on its head a little bit in this book, because he kind of like realizes, oh, my brother isn't just like this cool kid who doesn't
dropout.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. Plus, more. I want to just like see more, and I just really love the idea of these books, and I really enjoyed them. So okay, should we like ask the last question?
Yes, I actually really don't know where they are, so I'm looking at the book. Is it? Oh, how does this book talk about pursuing your passion? Okay. Despite what other people tell you to do, is their passion you long to pursue. So yeah, I think this book is not only a tribute to Indian American culture, and for Own Voices readers, reading this book is like kind of like gold to them, because it's, I swear, like even when we read books about our own culture, it's really like the best thing in the entire world. Knowing that someone else feels the same way, knowing that someone else goes through the same things you go through and follows the same traditions and cultures, I think is so interesting. And it was interesting for us to read, you know, for me, I guess, for the first time. But side where it's talking about, you know, expected ideals that come with this culture, and like, you know what I'm saying, right? Like this kind of belief behind like that you have to, you know, do something that's going to provide you with like a stable job, which of course is everyone's, you know, idea. Like you want to do something that obviously, you know, is a good paying job, and you want to have like a future, a stable future. But at the same time, there are like some jobs like Rishi, he dreamed of being like a comic book artist, and he had all these, and he was so passionate about it because he's been doing things on the side. He even dressed up as his own character.
Yeah.
You know, which was really like interesting. But yeah, this book, I think it's kind of like a wake-up call for, I guess, those people who are like Rishi and who have been too afraid to kind of follow their dreams and I guess pursue what they want to do. So that was for me, it was like a wake-up call. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that, and how this, you know, it shows people that, you know, you can. I guess when you come from a culture that tells you you have to do the practical thing, and you have to, that's like the way to success is you have to be an engineer, lawyer, doctor. And like that is how you will get a good future. And to see, you know, these people who are pursuing their dreams, and it's just kind of like interesting, you know, you have one person whose dream is to be like in STEM, and then there's one person whose dream is to do something else. And I really like, I guess, how you see that, and I guess, you know, kind of turning that whole thing on its head, where, you know, boys in STEM versus like girls in like the arts, and just kind of switching it around, I thought was really great too, because like the whole gender roles, whatever, like, you know, it doesn't matter what passions you're going for, and I do like how they do turn that around, I guess. And I don't know, I am someone who's gonna pursue my passion, because I've spent too much time not enjoying my life and hating every day that I just cannot live like that. Like, I want to be able to do something that I love and that makes me happy, because I've just spent so much time unhappy, and like, maybe it's not that like exactly like doing stuff that I'm not passionate about that makes me unhappy, but, you know, just like mental health in general, that I just want to do stuff that makes me happy and pursue my passion, because, you know, I can't, like, for me, like, I'm pursuing piano, and that's just like unpractical, of course. Like, what kind of job am I gonna get? I don't even know. But I'm just gonna keep going, because I can't imagine my life without it. I guess that was my thing. I almost quit piano once, and I was like, who would I be if I quit piano? That's who I am. And so I really like that. And it, you know, it shows kids that you can pursue your passion. That, you know, it'll turn out all right at the end of the day. And, you know, people say life is short, but life is also kind of long. Like, things can always change. If this turns out to not work out, like if your dream doesn't work out, there's always something else that you can do. It's never too late.
I don't know. It just reminds me of like my sister. She wants to go to art school, and I mean, us having Asian parents, it's kind of like my parents are kind of like scared and they're unsure of like her future. But I don't know how she does it, but she's so confident about it, and she's not like, she's only applying to art schools, and I'm like, wow. But I kind of see how she can do it. You know, after reading this book, it gives me a lot more confidence in like pursuing my own passions, even though I like even though I know like I'm not the smartest person, like even with that, like let's say, yeah, we are pursuing STEM, we are following our parents' dream of being a doctor or whatever. How can we still be confident about, you know, the path that we're taking if we're so down about ourselves? Like you might want to be a doctor, but you might be so terrible at science and math. You know what I'm saying?
That's also the thing, and it's kind of like, I mean, if you're not passionate about it, at the same time, it's like if you're not passionate about it, if you don't do well, you don't want to be there. Like, what good are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
If you're like a person who's going to be a doctor or a lawyer just because your parents want you to, and you're just kind of like getting by,
yeah,
what are you like really doing? Like, you're living an unhealthy life, and not an unhappy life. You become a doctor. Like, how good of a doctor are you gonna be? That kind of took a different turn. But like, if this is not what you're like passionate about, this is not what you're interested about, and this is not what you like put your efforts into, why pursue this when you can do what you want? And success for different people looks different.
Yeah, but I think we also have to keep in mind also kind of like I guess in this point where like maybe like privilege, because Rishi does come from a kind of, you know, his dad is a CEO, man. He's loaded. So I guess when we're talking about him pursuing his passion, that doesn't promise a lot. Like, he wants to be a comic artist, that doesn't ensure success and that he's going to be like, it's going to be profitable, but he is still able to do it. He's kind of like able to say, oh, I can take this route even though I'm kind of unsure about it, because he doesn't really have to worry as much as other people would have to.
Yeah. I mean, you can see that, but also, you know, with Rishi is that he understands that the success, like his family's wealth is his father's wealth. Like, it's not, you know, him who is the CEO of the company. I mean, it definitely, I don't know, I feel like his parents would definitely support him. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the thing with Asian parents, or at least with my parents, where it's like, they're going to support me until like I leave. My mom still makes me dinner. And buys my stuff, and will continue to do so and pay for my college. And I mean, I guess, you know, it's a different lifestyle when you are the person
like not being supported,
doing your dream, and you're not supported financially or morally by others. Okay, I'm gonna like have to go soon. So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Did you introduce our next book?
Yeah, I did.
I am so excited. It's going to be my first book from him, and I just heard such great things. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so much going around him. There's so many people who love him. There's so many people who are close to him. And meanwhile, I'm sitting here. I think, have you read something from him?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be our first time. So yeah, I'm really excited to talk about it. I already ordered it. It's coming. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. But overall, I really enjoyed this book. I thought I think it's one of our, actually no, All American Boys was by far one of my favorites, but I think this book is close second. It's a very nice conversation starter, I think, for especially a lot of people who have similar cultures and traditions. So very happy that we read it.
Yay. I mean, I had one thing I wanted to talk about, but I don't even know how to talk about it. But just like, I guess I just want to like talk.
Yeah.
This is not really a question thing, but that dinner at Elm. Oh my gosh, I was like, rolling my eyes the entire time, because like, you know, when she went out with Celia to go eat dinner with what's his name, Harry and Evan and Isabel, and they're just kind of like all these like snobby kids that just take everything for granted. And
no, I know. It was honestly, it's just so relevant, I think, today, because people go through that same ridicule and same like discrimination. It was just so annoying to see that. But
it was interesting to see. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. No, it was definitely interesting.
Harry also has like Indian heritage.
Mm-hmm.
How he, you know, looks at that versus how like Rishi looks like that, especially like Rishi and Dimple, especially Rishi, like how Rishi is really like embraces his culture and he really wants to learn a lot about it, and then Harry's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. I mean, honestly, yeah, that dinner part was so frustrating. But I think she put it there for a reason. Like I said, she was so smart with the things she put in this book. And and how she portrayed it. I think it was really interesting. So I'm like totally satisfied.
Oh, and then when Isabel comes back to them and they're like working on the project, she's like, hi, my family wants to have dinner with your dad.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, oh my gosh, like seriously, girl.
She was
with Isabel.
I know. That was so funny though. This book made me laugh. This book it touched very close to home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think for you too, definitely.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Okay. I gotta like go soon. So I'm sorry.
Do you wanna
anything you wanna say?
You want to log off? Then I don't want to keep you. Belinda's going to a book event, so
yeah, I'm like,
we gotta, book lovers, you gotta be early for those because the early bird gets the worm.
Do you want to keep going without me, or?
I think.
Or I think because I am starting it that I have to stop it.
Oh yeah, you can. I guess you can stop it whenever you're ready. But I guess we'll say. Okay, if you guys are interested, yeah, definitely like join us in our next live show. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Oh my god, you already have it.
Yeah, I'm carrying it all day. No, I just left it in the car. Yeah. So thank you for joining us for this. I'm sorry about all the scheduling things.
Yeah.
I really can't wait to read this with everybody, and yeah, we'll be better about this next week. This book, we're gonna be better about scheduling. So I'm really sorry about that. But thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for watching, and
we'll see you guys. Bye.